Preston, we were talking yesterday with John. John and Preston were on like concussion. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah, like I played right before concussions. Like I had a concussion. I had multiple, like from high school, wrestling in middle school, like all the way up. And it was never a big deal. You got your bell rung, whatever, you move on, right? I had one my last year at college during camp. It lasted for 2 weeks. Like I didn't really know that was like an actual thing.
Yeah.
And it was a scenario where like dizzy, you know, you start running or moving or whatever, you start getting real loopy. And they found out because one of my friends or like it was a volleyball player or whatever, told them like, hey, this guy's like jammed up because I was like telling them about it.
Yeah.
And so that's when they started making people stay out for a week or whatever.
My senior year, I've seen the tape at Hannah. There was a play, I don't know, we were playing Woodmont, and they had a dude at running back. Like he could have played at Clemson, freaking anywhere. And we were like I remember it vividly. I remember from the tape standpoint, like on the 10-yard line, they're about to score. Me and him met in the middle, just stalemate. The following play, you can see me on tape, just standing up. Not even in my stance, play's going on, and I'm standing like lock-legged, just looking around.
Yeah.
So confused. Then you could see Coach Fouch run the field, like scream, cuss me out to get me off the field. Like, what the F is going on? I start crying on the sideline for like 10 seconds.
And you don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I just started crying. That's
he gets weird emotions.
Just weird emotions. There's a guy that we played with named Matthew. He's a bigger, light-skinned guy that played on the line for us. He cried for 2 hours my junior year, his senior year at Hannah, because he had a concussion. Couldn't stop crying. But I get off the sidelines, cry for like 10 seconds, put me back in.
What?
Yeah, but that's just what we knew.
Yeah,
you know, that's football.
I remember we were
standing up. Just
the same thing happened to me. I was playing Gardner Webb, and I always tell people when you see somebody get decleated and their feet are above their head, usually that hurts less. Like I caught this, it was a punt. You know, the guy's running back and forth or whatever, and I was always the last one down the field, so I'm back there just kind of running back and forth. I get blindsided by this guy in my cheek. I did the same thing. I just start walking, just like power walking, like somebody in the mall.
Yep.
Didn't know what was going on. I just started walking. I don't know. That's all I could get out. And then I went over to the sidelines. Wasn't really sure. Played the rest of the game. Threw up the rest of after, you know.
Throw up usually happens.
Yeah. Started throwing up.
I got hit by third day on campus at Clemson. Me and Shaq Lawson.
Oh, God. How big is Shaq Lawson? Just so listeners know.
I mean, so Shaq plays DN for the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
6'4", 6'5", 280.
Oh, wow.
And we got in a fight. We were just doing, it was mat drills. There's no pads. Like, we're in shorts and a T-shirt. And third day on campus, he like didn't run through a drill. Shaq's good people. Like, Shaq's awesome. We just, like, it's 5 a.m. We're freaking tired. And he didn't finish through a drill. And I'm trying to be, like, the leader of the freshman class. So, of course, I mouth off.
And you're brand new.
Brand new. Our third day on campus.
I love it.
We're both 18. And the whole team's in there. We're doing literally mat drills, which is mat drills. For people don't know, you're in the indoor. You're essentially doing like early morning workouts.
Yeah.
And he didn't finish through the line. I mouthed off. I'm like, bro, we're not doing that. Like, run it back. And of course, he's not having it. It's 5 a.m. He's tired. He mouths off. I mouth off again. I think it's done with. I turn around. Buddy clocks me. Like, hit in the jaw, and I ate it. It didn't like knock me down. We ended up getting a fight, and I will say on camera, you can ask him. I ended up on top, and I won that fight.
Let's go.
I won that fight. I don't know how I did. And
Shaq Lawson, if you're out there, we can have you on next week.
I do not want to fight him again. I love Shaq.
I will make sure to tag him in that clip.
I got super lucky, but I ended up on top. The whole team is like surrounding us. Coach Batson, our strength coach, is like commentating the fight. And it probably lasted maybe a minute. And he hit me. It about killed me. We start boxing. I know he has better hands than me. He swings. I scoop him, just freaking wrestling back around. Get on top. Hit him maybe 3 times. And that was it. And I couldn't eat for a week. In my head, I'm bringing this up because the concussion stuff, he for sure gave me a concussion.
No doubt.
Ate through a straw.
You probably need to like have jaw surgery or something.
It was mean, he clocked me. He got me good.
Dude, that is a great story.
Imagine getting hit by a 6'4", 280-pound man.
Yeah.
And now you're not even looking.
You were like, if you go back and look at pictures of you too, you're 18. You didn't have the same body that you did.
6 foot 230.
Yeah, which is still good size, but like you look at you senior year compared to
awesome.
Yeah, that is hilarious. So why football? We'll take it back to the beginning because I want to talk about the whole Clemson journey and then obviously what you're crushing it in with business with Junkyard. Like, how did football come to be? Because I've known you since you were probably in, I don't know, 3rd or 4th grade. And you had a lot of interest, football. You were a heck of a baseball player. I got a cool story. I want to talk about that.
Oh, Lord.
You were all into motocross.
Yeah.
Like most people don't even know that about you. So I guess how did you channel it to like, all right, I'm good at all this stuff, but football is like what I love.
Yeah. So we started out in motocross. Me, Garrett, a lot of our family. My mom won't admit this. We were homeschooled because of motocross. She says she just wanted to homeschool us, but we were homeschooled so we could spend every day practicing motocross. We traveled like all across the South, had a freaking camper. Me and all my cousins would go every week. And I ended up getting in a bad wreck when I was probably 9 or 10 and had surgery on I broke my arm. Dirt got in, like the blood got infected. I had to wear a cast and had to have it like wrapped up essentially with an IV for 2 years because it got so infected.
What?
So I have a weird scar.
Dude, 2 years is a long time to fight an infection.
Yes, legit. Had to have an IV in my arm for 2 years.
Wow.
And that just kind of scared my mom. So like, all right, let's go play a safer sport. So I started getting into football and baseball, and I kind of ended up, I feel like, picking football because it was probably easier for me. I was naturally a little bit heavier. Garrett went towards the baseball route because he's a little bit lighter in the britches, and he was better at. Garrett was elite at football. Buddy had like 20 sacks his senior year at a 6'1", 200-pound D end. So Garrett wasn't no scrub, but I think naturally Garrett was better at baseball, and then naturally I was better at football. I think weight had a little bit to do with it, and I think I started learning that probably in middle school.
Yeah.
I hit a growth spurt in 8th grade. And I was 6 foot, 100 and probably 6 foot, 200 pounds in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So that helped me out in middle school. And then by freshman year of high school, I was 220 pounds. Just I was working out a lot, got into working out because Garrett forced me to do it.
Yep.
If I didn't go work out with him, he would cuss me out.
Yeah. He was going to fight you. You guys fought all the time.
Yes. We didn't really get in fist fights.
There's a lot of yelling.
A lot of yelling for sure.
Who's winning in a fight today?
I get asked that a lot.
I know you do.
And I'll say it'd be a really close fight. We would both come out bloody.
We need pay-per-view on this. I mean, I think you could raise some big-time dollars.
$100.
Yeah.
I'm 250 right now. Okay. Garrett's probably 210. I think Garrett's meaner than I am. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, 50 pounds is a big difference. Yeah. So even then, I got to take into account that he's probably more of a dog than me. It's close. I mean, it'd be a good fight. Then I could ask about you and Brandon. Brandon,
he's got big.
Brandon's in great shape, but Brandon's a mean mother effer.
Is he?
Brandon's been in probably over 50 fights in his life.
And Brandon's Ben's cousin.
Yes.
And was there not a day, just get off topic for a second, where it was you, Garrett, and Brandon at the 3 linebacker position?
There's a picture. It was my freshman year.
That's awesome.
Garrett's junior year, Brandon's senior year, and we were all Mike, Will, and Sam.
Wow. That's awesome.
That was a really cool picture we still have. And for people that don't know, Brandon is my older cousin. He was getting looked at like at Duke, NC State, so wasn't no scrub. Mm-hmm. My older brother played catcher at Clemson. And Brandon's probably 6'1", 6'2", was 220, 215 his senior year. Garrett's 6'1", probably 210. And I was 6 foot, 220 freshman year. So we had a good little linebacking crew my freshman year at Hannah. We freaking sucked. The team was a bunch of scrubs.
But the linebackers were good, baby.
We had some dogs up there.
Dude,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
But ended up pushing towards football more because I think naturally I'm not like an aggressive person, but I resonated more with the style of football. My body made more sense to play football. And then in high school, I mean, Garrett's 2 years older than me, and Garrett was a lot better catcher than I was. And I grew up catching. So my freshman and sophomore year, I had to play third base. And I'm not a freaking guy on the hot corner.
And you had to backfill a pretty big stud, you know? I mean,
right.
That's
freaking the Jared Stars of
no,
the world.
I'm joking.
And I never played third base. And that's freaking hard to play, dude. Especially when you only played catcher.
Yep.
And I sucked at it. And my freshman and sophomore year getting cussed out by Garrett because I'm not batting 400 like he is. I'm getting all these errors on the freaking hot corner. So I only had I had my junior year catching. And the junior year was my best year. And then senior year, I finally said, I'm playing football. Put me at first base. I'm done playing catcher. So the weight had a big reason why. I liked it more.
But you could hit, though. There's a story I have. I don't know. You have to remember this.
Okay, let's hear it.
Your eighth grade year, which was my senior year. Okay? You just hit that growth spurt. You had gotten a lot bigger. And we had a home run derby out at T.L. Hanna.
I do not remember this.
You're in eighth grade. And at the time, we were stout. I went and played Division I. Brooks Hall was in this home run derby, got drafted in the third round. Just a menace. Garrett, your brother, went to Clemson playing catcher. You had Jake Long, Clay Tucker, Causey Stanley. We had some dogs. Yeah. Everybody could hit. And we have a home run derby. And our coach, Adam Comstock at the time, I remember him talking junk. He said, Ben's going to win this home run derby. And this dude's an eighth grader, right? Football guy, but we all knew he could hit. He still played baseball at the time. Comes out and beats all of us in a home run derby. Yes, bro. You hit like 21 bombs to win the home run derby as an eighth grader, and you're just walking around like, yeah,
I don't remember
man.
that at all.
Oh, it was classic.
I know y'all had to be pissed.
Oh, we were like, and Comstock's just loving every second of it, you know?
I apologize. I know it probably pissed you off.
No, it's okay. Well,
challenged all their manhood.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. You know, it was it's a story I still remember.
If you and I had an eighth grader come in, I would have taken him behind a shed and whooped him.
I mean, what do?
Don't disrespect my dad ever again.
I mean, you were just like on that day. You're just knocking him out. You talk about fighting too. You said the story about Shaq. I got swung on by your brother at practice one time.
Did you really?
Yeah, he swung on me in Brooks Hall. We were practicing rundowns between home and third, and he was struggling getting it down. And for whatever reason, he's in a bad mood that day. And I went in on him.
Love it.
I'm like, bro, get rid of the ball at this time, peel out, and get back. And I like got loud with him, and he just like threw his helmet off.
So you're 2 years older than Garrett.
Yeah, 2 years older than Garrett. So he's a sophomore at the time. I'm a senior. Throws his glove off, throws his helmet off, shoves Brooks, and takes a swing at me. And luckily,
that's funny.
Dip out, and he doesn't hit me. And I dodge and make it out in time. But then, like, Comstock and everybody grabs him because he wasn't going to stop. It wasn't I'm just going to swing one time. This is over.
Garrett's a brawler.
Yeah, he wanted to go. And I'm like, bro, I was just trying to help you with this rundown.
I'm just trying to give you some direction.
Yeah, no, there was no love in that moment from him.
And there was a decent amount of, they definitely don't do it now. The freaking world now is a bowl of grits is so soft.
Gosh.
We got a lot of fights in football, but there was a lot of fights on that Hanna baseball field.
Yes.
And Garrett probably I had a couple, like my junior and senior year, but I know like my freshman, probably eighth and freshman year, Garrett Cole was probably a lot of fights.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think in that season, would that have been like 2011, 2012, like leadership now is different with business. Like obviously I can't cuss out one of our people on our team, but with sports, you need guys like that, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe not to like just throw a freaking right hook at you randomly, but I got in a lot of fights, specifically in football, because you need a guy in the locker room that will hold people to a certain standard, and if people don't do it, all right, let's box.
Yeah.
You know,
let's go.
So
sports has a cool culture. We said this yesterday. If the world was more like a locker room, we'd be in a way better place.
I agree. I do agree.
Because you could throw hands and then your boys again.
Yeah, bro, I love you, bro. Let's go get a freaking drink. Let's go get breakfast.
Let's go to JC's.
Yeah, let's go freaking get a bird dog.
Eat 4 bird dogs.
You know,
like.
But I think that's probably like not going to go down the Clemson route, but I think that like Clemson got really good and like probably hit the pinnacle of success with winning 2 natties within 3 years. And then it's not on a downturn, but we have not gotten back to that yet. And I feel like one of the things that has been lacking is having a guy in the locker room that will, bro, let's freaking box right now.
Let's
I'm going to headbutt you. You know, and I was talking to some guys on the team last Thursday or Friday, and I brought that up. And I'm like, yeah, I can't even remember the last time we fought. Like, bro, it's good for the soul. Like, it's good for y'all as dudes to throw hands in practice, you know, in the locker room, like fight. And they don't do that.
I would imagine after you left and Skalski probably carried that torch a little bit.
So Skalski was a freshman when I was a senior. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really see him get the chance to do that because he just didn't play a lot.
Yeah.
Me and Jay Galermo. So Jay Galermo was our senior. If you remember, somewhere 57, freaking incredible. He coaches at Virginia right now with Coach Elliott. You would love him.
Yeah.
He is a lunatic. But it's just great people, just sleeved up, 6'3", 315, and would fight everybody.
He's from Podunk, North Carolina. His dad is a fire chief. I sell medical equipment. I go into a fire station one day, and it's Chief Guillermo. He's like, oh, yeah, my son's Jake. He plays at Clemson.
Interesting.
And they're from
Yeah, no, he's a
good old, like,
he's a buddy. Yeah. So me and Jay were the guys. I mean, probably at my career at Clemson, in the locker room, at practice, at like skills and drills or workouts, I'd probably say I've gotten 100 fights.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Probably 100.
Y'all getting it in.
Yeah, but we won a natty.
Yeah.
You know, like,
you were holding people
that's
to
not
it.
the reason why we won a natty, but like we were consistently good. We had a really good locker room, like great chemistry. And one of the small reasons was like there was just a level of respect and a standard of kind of how we operated.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do it, well, I'm going to punch you in the throat. And people knew that, you know? So
I love it.
I don't have any regrets in how I led when I was at Clemson.
Yeah.
Obviously so different now. And me at 28 years old and me at 2021, like where I was a turd, but from like a leadership standpoint, from like in a locker room standpoint, like leading those guys specifically on defense, I would do it all over again, and I would do it the exact same way.
Yeah. You got results.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like what gets results. Where I want to talk about like how that translates into business. But before, because I want to dig into some more of the Clemson stuff, but your recruiting journey in high school and how you landed to be able to play at Clemson. Because I remember everybody wanted to talk junk. You know, oh, he's not quite big enough.
Yep.
He may not be fast enough. You know, and I think you still had big offers. I know you were really considering Stanford at one point.
Yeah, Stanford and Georgia.
But obviously we grew up, we're 20 minutes from Clemson, 25 minutes from Clemson. You were at all the games.
It pissed me off.
Who doesn't want to go there and you couldn't get your offer? So what does that look like? How did it transform you, your mentality, the whole process, and how did it evolve to you landing at the school like that you've always dreamed of?
Yep. So a coach named Coach Butchery. You probably remember Coach Butchery. He was my coach going up in Little League and then at McCants and then coached some at Hannah and just is my guy. Like good people looked out for me, made all of my highlight tapes and like sent them out to all these teams for me for free just because he's just good people. He actually works out in our Anderson location every day. Cool. And he's still a teacher in the area and a football coach still. But he sent all these tapes out and he was the one that would take me to all these visits. And randomly, I don't know why, but we went to South Florida. It was me, Coach Butchery, Nate Sicali, who played safety for us, and Glenn Hilliard.
Gooch, my boy Gooch.
Yeah, so us three went to South Florida, and that was my sophomore year. And they offered a week later. I have no clue why. I don't know why we even went there. Or why that was the first offer, but University of South Florida offered first my sophomore year. 2 weeks later, Stanford offered, and I can say this now because it's been a while, but I never went out to Stanford. I don't know why. Like a school in Cali and a school in Florida were the first two, but it was. And
That's funny.
I put on my transcript that I was in all these honor classes, like crushing them, where I was in the most average as grits classes, like smooth B guy. And I'm just like,
college prep.
Literally the most just like normal classes. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to verify it. Or just me being 16, 17, I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to do this. And I lied on my transcript that I was in all these like honor AP classes. And then I had to send it in, and they offered.
So, bro, that is classic.
I didn't have trash tape, but I know that they had to see that. I'm like, okay, he cares about his grades in school. So they offered, and so it worked. And after Stanford, that's when they kind of started. So the next month after Stanford, I probably got 15.
Wow.
Whether it be like Georgia, NC State, like just the schools around the area. When they saw the Stanford pull the trigger, like, okay, like got to be something.
We can't let them go to Cali. Like we got to keep them close.
Go to Cali. So I really was interested in Stanford. I was trying to like step back and make a mature decision. Okay, this could be beneficial for me after ball, going to school at Stanford. So I really looked into that, and then also really looked into Georgia because Clemson hadn't offered at this point. And when Clemson, I was super strategic about like what I would put out to the media, and I put out an article. Or I did an article with a dude talking about how I'm really interested in Georgia and that I may commit in the next month.
A little hard to get here.
Yeah, and I had a meeting with Coach Rick. Cried like a little baby. Like, you imagine being in Mark Rick's office with your dad, like talking about how he wants you to come play. That's super sick.
Yes.
So I was like just overwhelmed, crying, super cool experience. And that day, media guy calls me. I'm like, yeah, I'm loving Georgia. I really want to go there. Got a great relationship with Mark Rick. And then a week later, Clemson brings me in on like I think a junior day, where they bring in all these guys off the next year that they're wanting to recruit. They bring me in. They offer me a scholarship the next week when this article goes out.
I love it.
And I'm like, Coach Sweeney, thank you so much. I love it. I'm super appreciative. I'm going to take some time to see what I really want to do with these schools. And then literally 2 weeks later, I committed.
You committed.
So I was playing hardball and trying to play a strategic game and not seeing that like that's why it worked, but I feel like that had to have some impact. Obviously, always wanted to go to Clemson. My parents went there. My grandpa played football there. Garrett playing ball there. So Bailey ended up going there. It's like it was destined for me to go to Clemson. Yeah. I just had to be somewhat strategic to get that offer. It really pissed me off. I got to go to school in California. Offer me before y'all. Like, I'm literally 25 minutes away. And I know why they did it. They probably had a lot of other guys they were trying to get before me, knowing that when we offer Boulware, he's going to commit. Let's try to get these 5- and 4-star backers first. And if we can't get them, he's a backup plan, which is fine.
Yeah, you showed them, though.
It worked out, So I know why I was late, because they knew that I was going to come. But I was when Venables – if Venables didn't go there – so Coach Venables is the head coach of Oklahoma now.
Right.
But he was my DC and linebacker coach the whole time I was there. And I was the first guy that he offered a scholarship when he got on campus.
Wow.
Yeah, so if he didn't come, I probably wouldn't have coached Steele. I don't know where he's coaching right now.
He's at Alabama now.
Okay?
They just hired him on as their DC.
Interesting. So he was at Clemson, and he would have not offered me a scholarship if he was still there. But when V came, dude, V's 5'10", white dude, try hard, played linebacker at K-State, was a walk-on at K-State, ended up being an All-American, like Ring of Honor at K-State.
Wow.
So I think he probably saw a little bit of himself in me, and I'm being 20 minutes on the road. So when he got there, he offered me a scholarship, and then we can hit on it with the rest of the history.
Well, I think that you're onto something with the story plant, because one of my buddies, he worked at Charlotte when they were starting, getting their program going. He's recruited. Now he works in the NFL.
Cool.
But, he said that a lot of it's a herd mentality. like sort of wait on somebody to pull the trigger, and then once they do, everybody's like, wait, we're missing out on something.
1,000%. Yeah,
it's like hard to evaluate, so they're just wait for one person to pull the trigger, and then it's a wrap.
And there's so many guys out there nowadays, and probably so many methods to find guys and get them. But even then, there's still a lot of folks that you're probably missing. So when this was back, I think Stanford kind of sucks now. But
yeah, they were nasty then.
Yeah,
Andrew Luck,
early 2000s.
Yeah, they were good.
10, 11, 12, 13. Like they were solid. So I think when they saw that,
who was the coach when they were recruiting?
David. What's his name?
He just retired.
Yeah, he just retired. The coach has been there for like the past 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
David something.
I know exactly. Bald black guy.
Yeah.
He was there forever. Now, how much did the All-American game play into all this? You know, they made a big deal about it because you absolutely crushed it. I just remember your brand after that shooting through the roof, right? I feel like you had a ton of hype after that. Did that help with any of the recruiting, or that was more just press? Yeah, the All-American Under Armour game.
That was the Under Armour All-American game. That would have been, I think it's in, I could be wrong, but it was my senior year. I've already been committed to Clemson at that point. I think it was in like December, January, February timeline of my senior year. So I'm going on to campus in a couple months.
Gotcha.
It definitely helped the hype going into my first year because I'm not just prepared. Like I knew that I was depending on what the like an ESPN rivals, like my ranking was different, but it was an ESPN based game, and I was the new number 2 backer in the country behind Reuben Foster.
Yeah.
So Reuben Foster, I think he's still in the league, but he played at Alabama.
He's bad, some gun.
Hey, bad, but dude is a dude.
Yeah.
He's kind of a meathead though.
Is he?
Yeah, he's kind of a meathead. He's an incredible athlete, great linebacker, had a good career at Alabama, first round draft pick, but just made some dumb decisions. I think he's been injured too, but it was Reuben Foster and then me based off of ESPN. So that's what the ranking was at that game. So I knew Reuben was a guy. So I had to go into this game and like live up to the number 2 ranking.
Yeah, ball out.
So I went in there like just guns blazing. Pissing people off, like playing too hard at practice. These are some like 5-star guys like, dude, we don't even want to be here. We're not trying to get hurt. And then you get this freaking short white boy running around headbutting people. But I had to do that to kind of make my name
build your brand.
like solidified. And then going into the game where I'm running my mouth, I did this little celebration that's I think is one of my more funny, coolest celebrations I've ever done. I think I stole it from Clay Matthews. I got a TFL in the game. And I did Garrett dare me. We were watching it on YouTube like 2 weeks before the game. He's like, bro, if you do this celebration, I'll pay you $100.
Shut up.
And I had it in just like my back pocket. Got a big play, and it was essentially this like sexy dance thing.
Yes.
You could pull it up and probably show a clip on this like when you do the final video.
We'll have to pull the clip up
because it's still on YouTube, and I literally just kind of like start twerking, and that's kind of before people started just doing weird stuff in football. Like that's kind of like on the early stages of it, so it kind of blew up on social media in the early days, and it kind of helped with I guess some hype going into my freshman year. I didn't freaking play a lick my freshman year. I was a special teams guy.
Yeah.
Played 37 snaps my freshman year. But on special teams, I was trying to kill people.
Yeah, you were flying down the field. You're just like, let's go.
Yeah, this dude is a meathead and doesn't know none of the playbook, but we know he'll run down the field and try to spear somebody.
It's funny you said it. So when I was playing at a smaller school, we'd go play the Clemsons. We didn't play Clemson. We played like Wisconsin and back when J.J. Watt was there, and they were like number 2. You know, and we would go play them, get beat to death. But like I'll never forget, like because I played every snap on defense, and then I played all the special teams.
The worst.
And then like these guys would be walk-ons at Wisconsin. That was their moment.
Yeah. So
and I'd be trying to get down the field, and they were just like it was like having a nap. You know, like in our conference, everybody was like just trying to survive.
Yeah.
You know, during special teams because we all played every play.
Imagine. Can you remember how awful that was? I would get so mad. I'm like, dude,
yes,
I'm literally playing 70 snaps a game on defense, and you want me to get on kickoff too? Like, me and like Sweeney and V would get in like big arguments because they wanted me my senior year to play kickoff and then go play 70 snaps on defense. I'm like, guys, I'm going to be cooked. I got to make all these calls, got to line all these freaking idiots up. I'm not sprinting 70 yards down the field and then playing a full series.
Yeah.
And the first game against Auburn, my senior year, I was on kickoff, and I was so mad. And
yes,
I did it that game. And after the Auburn game, we got into it. I'm like, guys, like, I'm the guy on defense. I'm not playing kickoff. And finally just, like, stood my ground. They took me off after.
Wow. Well, I mean, you should have earned the respect by then.
We got
it's
plenty
like
of dudes that can sprint 70 yards faster than I can.
Yeah.
Get some freshmen. Get a Skalski who's faster than me. And put him there, you know.
Let him go hit somebody,
break his neck. You know, like I gotta freaking run this defense. But the worst.
Our deal was punt team. Like if you were on punt team and they didn't block a punt, you were on punt team for the entire time that you were there. Once you could like go out there on punt team, they didn't block a punt, it's a wrap. You're on there for life.
I was on punt a little bit longer my senior year. They kept me on punt, which pissed me off because again, same thing. You're having to sprint 30 to 40 yards and then go into defense. So
that's awful.
I remember we played,
but it killed me.
We played Georgia Southern one time, and I was on punt team, and it was like, I don't know, one of those like FCS games in like August or something, or whatever it is, like the first game. It was in Georgia Southern's in Statesboro, and it was like 9,000 degrees at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
I hate those games.
Punt team, this guy, I can't remember what happened. He ran it back, and then there was a flag, and so we had to kick again.
The worst.
And then I did it again. Then he starts doing all this running around stuff, bro. I came over the sidelines and just like was like,
tap your helmet. Hey, pull me out, please.
I was a king of this.
Yeah, that is hilarious. So you obviously love Venables now. I mean, that's your guy.
Yeah, and we butted heads.
That's what I was gonna. Your first year, it wasn't always like that.
It was probably freshman year to junior year, and senior year it really cooled down. We butted heads for 3 years.
So elaborate, like over what? Obviously, you talked about special teams, but that was senior year. Like
over me thinking I was right and I was wrong almost every time.
So you would stand up though.
Yes. Well, I would pop off on him, and he would be up in your grits, like not spitting in your face, but when he would get really elevated, he just had a tendency to like just spit would come out of his mouth, and you'd be face to face and just getting splattered. He'd get foam at the corner of his mouth.
That's when you knew you pissed him off.
Yeah, but every time we had a conversation, he had little white spots around the corner of his mouth. Ask anybody that played Coach V, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was all because I thought I knew what I was doing, or thought a play call was supposed to be this, or I was lined up the right way. And then you get on tape, and he's like, "Bro, this is why I cussed you out earlier. Like, you're supposed to be in the A gap, and you're in the B gap." Like, so for 3 years it was that, and where I was just like, I didn't loaf a lot, but if I would ever get cooked, and I would just like naturally would loaf because I'd be so cooked, he would still rip you for that.
Yeah.
But more times it wasn't nothing personal; it was just ball. Like I was either lined up wrong, did the wrong thing, and me being 18, 19 thought in that moment I was right, and then he knew. He's a guru. Like guy is. From a defensive standpoint, I mean, knows it all.
Wow.
It's wild.
And a great leader.
So a leadership standpoint, I think he's made a lot. He's going to always be who he is, but him and V and Sweeney are such different leaders.
Really?
And I think there's a good balance because I need, like I said, you need a guy in the locker room that's going to punch you in the face and fight you. V is that from a coaching standpoint. And him and Sweeney complemented each other because, one, Sweeney's a great CEO. Like, he's a good football coach, but he's a good CEO. That's a business. Yeah. He's a good CEO, and he's got great coaches to be, like, boots on the ground and lead the actual players. And he obviously is more, like, operations, systems-wise. He poked his head in these offensive meetings a good bit. Defensive-wise, when he would do that to V would, like, you could see V would get pissed. Like, bro. Get out of here.
Get out of my room.
Get out of my room. Yeah. You know? So I think Sweeney did a really good job of being a good CEO, like really caring about the player, like tending to the player's heart, you know, and them as a man. And then V was just like the sergeant.
Yeah.
Super smart, like a football guru, and would rip you. And you need that. You know, and that's like the difference with, like, this is my opinion, but Venables and Wes, who is the DC now, are so polar opposites.
Really?
Polar opposites. Like, Wes is good people, obviously a smart coach, but I've talked to players, and they're like, Wes, I ain't heard Wes say one cuss word or scream at one player or just like rip anyone's tail. Bro, that was every snap with V.
Wow.
But on the flip side, you would have some players that would play scared with V because you'd be so scared to mess up that you're about to get cussed out and just disrespected in front of the whole team because he would literally rip you in front of the whole team and would bring you to the ground.
He didn't care.
Would try your soul as a man.
Wow. So he's like, what you see on TV is that and more.
Bro, he called me a P word for 3 years straight. And that's just like was part of his dictionary. But like you're 18, 19, you get called that every day in practice. Like that, like I'm freaking 10 years later, I'm still talking about it, you know? And I love V. Yeah. But dude is nuts. But it worked.
It worked. Well, you talk about how the culture there was like, well, we just scrapped. We were some dogs. And I'm sure that probably started with him.
Yeah.
He would hit, so he's hopping in the middle of that.
He ain't going to swing on a body, but like he'll hop in. If it was like a brawl, he'd hop in it and trying to pull guys off, but throw some elbows.
Yeah.
Bro, like they don't fight now, you know, and there's no coach that will probably let it happen. And V would, you get scolded for it, but you knew.
He loved it.
Bro, it turned him on. Like, he loved it. That's just who he is.
That's what he lived for.
But that's why, like, that's one of the reasons why we were a successful team and we went with a natty in 16 and 18. So, yeah, I love that dude. He is crazy, but he is like, he's a great father, great Christian, great husband, and an incredible football coach. And he's a good leader. He's just an aggressive, in-your-face type leader. But that's like, I feel like football nowadays is getting out of that type of leadership because they don't want to offend anybody.
Yep.
And he's probably having to dial it down a little bit because he's like, the world is where it is in Oklahoma as it is here and across the country with football. So he hears it, but football needs that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's got to happen.
Sports need that. You need a coach that's going to get in your face and try you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, then you'll make mistakes and then you'll keep making them because you don't know you're wrong.
And they're all cocky little shits, you know?
Dude, yeah. Well, they need someone to, especially I don't want to make a blanket statement, but a lot of young kids nowadays, like, they definitely need someone to rip their freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy just how the world in general has just complete, and you got to be careful. You run a business, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but especially in the business world, the fact that it's leaving the sports world shows you how soft the business world is.
Yeah, it started with the business world. Now it's melting everywhere.
It's just everywhere, and it's sick. I mean, we work for a large corporation and great corporation, but some of the stuff that comes through, you're like, bro, this it kills culture, is what it does.
Yeah.
It kills culture, and it takes that dog eat dog competitive mentality out because it's all now, well, how do you feel?
Yeah.
We don't want to hurt your feelings. We want to push you to the max. It's like, no, like if you're going to grow, we've got to be pushed. We got to feel uncomfortable.
Feedback. I literally had an interview with someone we were bringing on a team yesterday, and like Coach Venables, I think it all comes down to like giving feedback, but then like figuring out how to like deliver it. With V, or he delivered that thing.
Yeah.
And he obviously gave it, but was super aggressive when it came to delivering feedback. And I feel like from a business standpoint, it's super key to give feedback consistently to everyone on the team. So we brought on a guy, had a final interview with a guy yesterday, and I ended the interview with, hey, when you start this onboarding process with Marcus, and Marcus is the one that trains all the coaches, I'm like, dude, know that you're going to get feedback every single day. Also know that it's coming from a loving heart. We're not trying to be disrespectful or say something that's out of line. Like, we're just trying to keep the standard of the business what it is now, but also as you come on, elevate it.
Yeah.
To do that, though, we've got to give you feedback every single day. You're not going to grow as a person, but also as a person on our team, we're not giving you honest feedback. And it takes us from like a leadership standpoint, knowing that it's not all cookie cutter. Like how you receive feedback is going to be a lot different than how you receive it. And also how your wife receives it and how your kids receive it.
Yep.
And it's the same with business. Like, bro, I can't deliver feedback to this female coach the same way that I delivered to my free safety 8 years ago.
Yep.
You know? So that's something that me and Marcus are like in the season of learning now is we want to always deliver feedback, but how we deliver it is got to be different for each person.
Sure.
And obviously, you won't know how to deliver it until you get to know that person, but letting him know on the front end, bro, you're going to get feedback.
Yeah.
Don't get pissed off when we give it to you. We're trying to push you. We're trying to keep the standard of the business where it is, but every single day, you can get it like in the person, like face to face. We're going to write it down, and we're also giving it you a video. So like we're going to hit you in all areas.
That's
so
awesome.
You can't say you didn't know because we're giving it to you every day.
Sure.
You're doing what you got to do.
I think back to what you were saying, like people are scared to give feedback because they're going to offend somebody. But then I think it goes to the leader because you sometimes have poor leaders that don't know how to deliver it.
Sure.
And
They don't have that trust. It all comes. You knew Dabo loved you.
yeah,
You knew V loved you.
Yeah.
And so when they got in you, it was like you're pissed.
Yeah.
But then when you settle down, it's like, no, they care about me.
yeah.
You
And
know?
that's probably what's tough as corporate because, I mean, I don't know Stryker, but I'm not speaking on Stryker, but a company like that probably has thousands of employees, that it's the org chart, the person that's over you is trying to deliver you feedback. If they do, like, bro, I don't even know who you are. I haven't seen you in weeks. Like, you have been in the office literally in 2 months. Like, I'm not going to listen to you. So I think it starts at the top with like leaders that are pouring into the people below them, and letting them know that it's not a job. Like, hey, like your success is my success. Like, I want you to be successful and lead your people well because this is a revolving door. You know, so I think you got to build equity in the people that you're leading by being there consistently and being in the weeds with them. So it's probably tough with businesses like corporate because it's either going into a hybrid work environment or remote, and it's like tough to lead that way. You know, Hannah, my wife, works in corporate for a $30 billion company, and they're switching to this hybrid work environment, and it's more remote. And she's like, I have a team of 30 people I got to lead. Like, I need to be in the office at least 2 to 3 days a week so they can see I'm there, so they can see I'm working with them. And that'll allow her to lead her team well. So all comes down to feedback. And
I think you got to earn the right, you know? I think that's what you're doing, is you're earning the right to give feedback.
Yeah.
Sweeney and Venables, they earned the right to get in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You earn the right to get in the free safety, just like you're earning that right to
sure.
get into your employees. I think that's all what it all comes down to.
How did your leadership, and maybe this wasn't the turning point for you, so if it's not, we can take it to where it was. But I would imagine you guys are building this program, right? Like you probably from your freshman year, then sophomore year, then junior, you're like, we're pretty darn good. We got the best quarterback arguably in the nation. You're crushing on defense, huge guys on the line. Like y'all are nasty, but you get to that natty in 15 and you lose. Mm-hmm. Like what does that do to you? Was it you're walking away and you're like, all right, I've had the heat up now, but I'm about to freaking burn this place up for the next year.
We'll burn the ships. So a couple of things happened after we lost my junior year. So we played Alabama. It was a 2015 with a nail biter. It was like, I think it was like 45 to 40, high scoring game. We freaking lost though. Confetti's falling for all the wrong reasons for us. Everyone's crying on our team. A lot of seniors on our defense. I'm like one of the 2 underclassmen that are playing. I played like trash. Y'all don't probably remember this, but Derrick Henry, who's a dog, a Hall of Famer right now in the league already, had a 50-yarder up the middle. I was in the wrong gap. Bro, should have been in the B gap. I was in the A gap. Oh, when I tell you I got ripped, the fact that I still know that today, bro, we were in. It was double flanker, and we were in gold, and I was in the wrong gap. And he took it to my gap, 50 yards to his house. Yeah. So I played like trash. Left a lot of just room for improvement after that game. So I go into my senior year, 0 dark 30. Just, bro, I'm not about to let some underclassmen ruin my opportunity for a national championship. I was that guy my last year.
Because you had tasted it now.
Yeah,
you're like, bro.
I was one of the reasons why we lost.
Well, I'm just saying you had tasted being that close, too.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, we put in all this work.
We were 14-0, too. Yeah. We could have been the first undefeated team ever.
And that stupid onside kick, too, which is totally different. I mean, so how's that man come out like halftime kicking an onside kick?
A couple other guys that were underclassmen didn't have great games. So going into our senior year, I wanted to kind of set the tone for the seniors alongside me, but also everyone else. So going into winter conditioning, I just was losing my mind. Like making us do an extra, getting in fights. We would have 21 110s. I'm like, no, we're doing 2 more right at 21. There, and everyone's cooked. Where I had linemen getting my face. I remember to this day, I had a 6'6" left tackle. Like, bro, I'm not doing 23. Like, let's box then. And I throw my guard up. Like, let's fight then. Let's see if you don't do two more.
You didn't care.
He started crying. Ran 2 more. So
Got him.
stuff like that. We would do stadiums and just being a dick. Hey, we're going to do 2 more after this. People would get so mad. But then that's one of the reasons why they get mattered. You get 15 games into the season. Hey, these extra reps in January, February, they come into play. I'd wear a weight vest. I think this really helped me out. I lost 20 pounds from my junior year to senior year. I played at 250 my junior year and then got down to 232 my senior year. I realized the game was getting a lot faster. So I'm like, I don't need to be 250. I'm freaking slow. Like, I need to speed up. So wore a weight vest, whether it be we'd be in the weight room, on the field. Like, literally anytime we were sweating, I'd put on a 25-pound weight vest. And it sucked. Like, it was hard to do, but that was like one of the lenses I tried to look into or look through my senior year. Like, this doesn't take talent for me to do this. It sucks me having to do this, but like, I just need to make a decision when I walk in every day, put this weight vest on. I know he's not doing it. I know he's not doing it. I know those guys at Alabama aren't doing it. But like, I just need to make a decision every day to put the weight vest on. We'd be doing like literally like hang cleans. I can show you a video of me doing a power clean with a freaking weight vest on. It's stupid. Like, I don't know why I would do that.
You're proving a point, though.
Yeah, I'm proving a point. So
That's a mentality thing.
every type of conditioning going into my senior year, I'd wear a weight vest. And then some of the linebackers started doing it. They just saw it, so they started wearing one too. I'd have little like check marks going into my senior year. It's like wearing a weight vest. I'd watch like a certain amount of film every single day. After practice, I would stay for 10 minutes. There'd be a timer. This would be just me checking a box.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to do it because I was like, this doesn't take talent for me to do this. This takes me making the decision and being intentional about it. So every single practice going in, we'd be a week away from playing in the Natty in Tampa, and I would stay after and do like 10 minutes of back drills or like sprints. I remember going through the motions, like, all right, I'm just going to do this just to say I did it.
Yeah.
But I did, though.
You did it.
And then going into, I've told the story a couple times. When we got to Tampa, it would have been, we got there on a Tuesday. We played the following Monday, so you get there like a week in advance.
Okay.
We did, implemented these player-led meetings. People were not happy about it. So we had
who likes player-led meetings? You know, it's like
this freaking guy.
Here we go again.
Three. It's already been a year of me having to do this. So, but dude, we're there again. We're 13-1, I believe.
That was that Pitt game.
Pitt game, yeah, dude.
So stupid.
It was their offense was so confusing. I remember almost pulling myself out because I had no clue what was going on. It was the most confusing offense we've ever experienced. We go to the game plan. You're expecting this, and then every single play, there will be 2 tight ends. They're going to move one over. They'll move that other guy over. Then move them back over the word. The receiver goes across every play. So you're like, there's all this just mumbo jumbo going on pre-snap. Well, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be looking at. But 60 straight plays of that, and we couldn't even line up because they would be so confusing. So that's one of the reasons why we lost. Defense, we played like trash. I got mossed on by a tight end in the end zone. Looked like an idiot.
We'll have to pull that clip up.
Dude, it wasn't even my responsibility. It was like a throwback or something. I was covering for either our Sam or free safety, and I just see him wide open. So I just start sprinting. I get blasted on social media. Boulware, unathletic, can't cover nobody, and it wasn't even my guy. But I got mossed.
Yeah, you're just trying to pick up somebody else.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help the team out. But we go into the Natty week, and hey, if breakfast starts at 8, we're going to have a 7 a.m. player-led defensive meeting. And we started on Wednesday. We had like 90% of the defense show up. Thursday, probably 95. We're missing like 2 or 3 guys. Friday, missing 1 dude. Saturday, missing 1 dude. Sunday, missing 1 dude. Same dude.
Same guy. Uh-oh.
Find them on Sunday. I'm like, bro, you're starting on Monday night. You're going to play at least 50, 60 snaps. But I swear to God, if you do not come to Monday's player-led meeting, you're not getting in the game. Like if V subs you in, I'm gonna call a timeout, or I'm gonna just act like I'm cramping up. I need you to at least show up to one of these meetings so the team knows that we can trust you.
Yeah.
Because I was that guy my junior year that wasn't trustworthy. So this guy's like showing me how he's not trustworthy by not showing up this. Like, bro, just get up an hour early. It's not that 7 a.m. Like, bro, you got up at 4 this morning. You know, it's not hard. So he, Monday morning, shows up at 7:10. And I lose my freaking mind.
You just go off on him?
Lose my mind. Use a little clicker, watching through the plays. I throw the clicker at him. Christian Wilkins corners him.
So Christian's on your side. Like, he's leading with you.
So me and Christian were the guys my senior year.
Okay.
Christian, Cleveland, they're good people, good leaders, work their tails off. Christian Wilkins is elite.
And that man is balling.
Bro, he had like 100 tackles at 3 technique this year.
But he's got the heart too, which is cool.
He is so funny and so weird.
I love it.
Just one of those weird locker room guys who just do weird stuff like, bro, you better hope this doesn't get out to the public. That was so weird. But we were super close my senior year. He is elite, like an incredible athlete, but just like good people, like a good dude, great leader. So it was me and him kind of leading the defense my senior year. So he corners old buddy in a conference room of a hotel, giving him a little 1-2 for being late, and old buddy didn't play one snap.
Shut up.
And so we win, and he has hated me for like the past 4 years. It's been longer than that. So like after we had like a church camp in like 2020 or 21, something like that. Maybe 2019, and we ended up volunteering at the church camp together. And I found out like, hey, do you know like he's going to be there, and he has hated you, like spoke bad about you publicly because you wouldn't let him get into the game. I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. He didn't show up to the meeting. That's his fault.
You were looking out for the team.
Yeah. And he has hated me from 2016 to 2019. And we made amends at this camp, like hugged it out, but he didn't play a snap.
Did you go to Venables?
Like right after the meeting.
You went straight to him.
Walked out, go up the stairwell. I see him walking down. I'm like, V, don't put him in the game. We've had these 7 a.m. meetings from Wednesday to today. He has not shown up to one of them. We don't trust him. If you put him in, I'm going to call a timeout, and I'm going to waste one for us. He goes, yes, sir.
Wow.
I swear to God.
Bro.
Didn't play a snap.
That's earning your right there.
So going into my senior year, like stuff like that, getting into fights, like you need a dude like that to play at a high level, but also lead a team at a high level. And that's probably one of the things that's missing in college football nowadays. There's probably plenty of teams that have it, you know, like the teams like Georgia. I'm sure they got some dogs in that locker room.
No pun intended.
They got some 2 years in a row. Like they got some dudes that are probably scrapping, and that's why they're consistent right now. They're the team, you know. Yeah. So I don't know what your question was.
No, that's that's perfect. Just like how it impacted you, and it seems like your leadership grew even more. You know, you didn't care about. I feel like when you're a leader, you have to put a person aside, and you have to focus on the organization or the team.
Yep.
And
not worry about what that guy thinks.
Well, one of the things, one thing I brought up that happened my senior year that helped me from a leadership. This was like specifically what I was hitting on, the cookie cutter like leadership stuff. I had a freshman come in who was like highly touted, like 5-star linebacker, and his freshman year was a good athlete, but just was soft, like good people, but just a soft guy. Mm-hmm. And we're in the weight room, we're like doing like a 225 max test or something, and instead of doing 225, he like reps out 185, which is like, looking back, who cares, whatever. And the whole linebacker room is doing 225, like burning it out for like 20. Mm-hmm. And this dude's 6'4", 220, put on 185. We'll knock out 5 reps, just being some weak sauce. And I ripped into him, disrespected this man, started crying, ran out of the locker room, found him in the locker room, and he called me out. He's like, dude, I'm not going to respond to you cussing me out in front of the team. Like, I'm going to break down. Like, that's not how I receive feedback. And that was a good wake-up moment for me I was like, right, that's actually a good point. And I've not been great. I've learned a lot over the past 7-8 years, but that was the first time. It was probably, I think it was in spring drills when that happened, where I learned about, like, I can't do this I can't communicate to every single guy the exact same way, because you guys, like this guy who doesn't receive it well that way, he's going to break down for crying in front of the entire team. So,
well, you just had raw leadership at that point. Yeah, like you had it in you. Now it was like
you got to dial it in. You know, find that radio station that was the right one. So
Now is this guy in the league?
He's not in the league.
Okay,
great athlete. He's not in the league though.
Yeah, I thought it may be
the other guy
else
from the national championship story is in the league.
Yeah,
and has been balling in the league.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
maybe
you got to do.
Maybe he's you know,
no,
he's learned a lot though. He's good people, means well, great athlete. But he was a freshman, you know, like, and I sucked when I was a freshman, so I get it. But he was a freshman. It was a good learning experience for him. I promise you, ask him today, he's like, nah, I needed that.
Yeah.
So
that's cool that y'all reconciled.
Yeah, we had a good like 30-minute conversation at this church camp. Made amends, and Buddy's making a lot more money than I am. So
he's doing it.
He's doing it. Yeah, he's doing well.
So to finish the college story, how was the W in 16 everything you dreamed of? Like,
for sure.
You milked it for all it was worth.
It was sick. Yeah, it was super cool. Win, have the opportunity to speak after. We stay up till like 5 a.m. that night in the hotel lobby, eating pizza, just like chopping it up with the dudes. Great conversation. Going into the NFL, I think I trained in like Pensacola. I was supposed to be like, they were asking me last week, these guys are playing, like, how much stock should we take into with these draft projections? I'm like, dude, I was supposed to be a 3rd round guy. Like, everyone told me I'm going to be a 3rd, 4th round dude, and I didn't get drafted. So, like, I don't think it really matters. So I go into training, kept hearing that, went to the Senior Bowl, had a good week. I didn't participate in the combine. I went there, but I didn't do any drills. I was just like, dude, we played 15 games. A lot of these guys here played 10, 11, 12. They've had 4 months to prepare for this. I've trained for 2 weeks for this combine. I'm not running. I'm going to run a 5.3 and look like a slap neck. So that, I don't know if that helped me or hurt me not participate in the combine. I went through all the interviews. I feel like I did well with them. But I was a guy that they needed to see run well, because everyone expected me to be a 4.9, 5 flat dude. And I didn't run, but because I had to play 15 games, I played 30 games over a 2-year span. A lot of teams play 24. You know, so it matters. Going into pro day, I think I performed well. I cheated on my height. I was telling a guy that is a linebacker at Clemson that's about to go into pro day, and I was showing him how to cheat your height. There's a way I can. If I didn't sit down, I'd show you how to do it. I'm 5'11" and 7/8. When I did my final tryout with Jacksonville, I was so burnt on football. I'm like, I'm curious what my height really is. And I've always said that I'm 6 foot, 6'1".
Yep.
Went to this last tryout, was 5'11" and 7/8. I was like, my whole life is a lie. Because it matters. You're a white linebacker, you need to be above 6 foot. There's a big difference between a 5'11" backer and a 6 foot backer. Yeah. So I really tried my hardest to get 6 foot. So going into pro day, freaking, even at the combine, I cheated, stuffed my shoes. I had like 3 soles in my shoes walking around. You have to take them off when you do your height, but I can show you after how there's a way where you can cheat it. And I got 6-0-0-0. Called it out. I freaking was screaming inside when they called it out. So happy that I got 6 foot. Pro day, I got 6.5. Cheated like a mug on the height test. You're in the team room. There's all these scouts, like hundreds of scouts watching you get measured. You're in legit compressions. I off my heels. Heels. Someone's in the seats screaming at me to get on my heels because they saw me cheating. The guy still took my height, measured it, didn't really care. 6.5.
Let's go.
Freaking go. Yes. So stoked. Performed well. I think I ran a 4.7, which is not great, but it's not trash. It's what most people expect to run a 4.7 at pro day.
Yeah, that's fast on laser.
Solid. It was
stopwatch.
It was stopwatch.
You didn't have to say that.
That's why, right?
I had to do my boy like that.
At the combine, it was all laser, and I knew I'm gonna be a
4.9, 5.05
on laser. There's a big difference, but in pro day, it's hand time. a 4.7 hand time. So I'm a smooth, I was probably a 4.9 laser, which is, I mean, looking back, who cares? They fired me anyway. So got draft day, didn't get drafted, super disappointing, like bad like space for me. Going off for my senior year to not even get an opportunity.
So that was tough.
It was tough, dude. Draft day, I remember being sick.
Because were y'all, like, did you kind of get together? And
whole family's at my house, seeing all these backers get drafted in front of me. I'm like, dude, this dude's a freaking scrub. Like, we were at the Senior Bowl together. He was trash.
Yeah.
So that was super disappointing. Carolina gave me an opportunity. It was Carolina, the Browns, and the Steelers that were wanting to give me a undrafted spot. Picked Carolina because I was like, if anything, I go into Carolina, I could suck, but it's good marketing for them. Clemson being so close, there's probably a lot of Carolina's fan base at the Clemson base. It may help a little bit of ticket sales. No, got fired, final cuts, and I didn't really get a lot. So looking back, I probably should have went to the Browns or Steelers. Carolina's locker room was stupid. Like, it was a great locker room. They have Kuechly,
yeah, dude.
TD, Shaq. Had like 4 first-rounders in their linebacker room. So there was not a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah.
Browns and the Steelers did not. So I would have had a more opportunity. I would legit, all throughout training camp, would get like 2 snaps a day. So you're already operating like on your toes because I'm going to get 2 chances and I got to be grade out 100%. And then I wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't play trash, but you get 2 chances out of 300 snaps in practice. That's tough.
Yeah, then you're pressing.
Your worth.
Yeah,
pressing, dude. So I didn't really get a lot of opportunity. And then in the preseason, dude, I probably had 20, 30 snaps out of 4 games. So just didn't really get a chance, which is fine. Like, there was a reason why I didn't get a chance. They probably didn't have room. So ended up going to try out for the Steelers, then the Browns, and then the Jacksonville. And it was all P-Squad opportunity. But before then, I got signed to the P-Squad of the 49ers. Awful. Like, I'm freaking playing fullback for the scout team, out there 3 weeks. I didn't like the locker room. It was very different than Carolina. 49ers are great now. Back a couple of years ago, they weren't that hot. So I get fired after like 3 weeks. Literally, Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster was there. He was their first-round draft pick. He gets hurt. I come on P-Squad. He gets hurt for like 6 weeks. I'm like, all right, I'm about to get called up to 53. It's my chance. My mom comes into San Fran. We're about to spend a whole week in Cali. I'm picking her up at the airport. She's putting her bags in my freaking rental car. San Fran number calls me. Hey, man, this is Joe Blow from the 49ers. Want to let you know we're letting you go. Please bring in your iPad. My mom hops in. Are they calling you up?
Oh,
you bringing it at 53? Like, you made it?
No.
And I'm like, yo, I swear to God, I just got fired. And the whole paycheck that I made over those 3 weeks blew it in a week. I was just like, I didn't care at that point. I hated being out there. Like, where I'm Anderson, South Carolina through and through. Like, I live in Pendleton now. Like, I don't want to leave here. I love this place. So me being in,
you seem like a San Francisco guy, though.
dude, like, and you're not even in San
Surprised
Fran.
you're not still out there.
We're in San Jose. You're not even in San. You're an hour away
I
from
got
San
you.
Fran. So the stadium's in San Jose, and
That's the tech stuff, right?
Dude.
All the tech.
It's a desert. There's nothing out there. It's tough. Super expensive still. I did not want to be in San Fran by myself, let alone San Jose, California. Get back, a couple tryouts. This is when I started figuring out this plan B with business. Me and Marcus start kind of working on it. I still do these tryouts. Get to Jacksonville. I'm done. I'm like 5'11", 7'8". I freaking loaf through all the drills, drop balls on purpose. I remember at the end of each tryout, the only time I felt and experienced happiness was when they told me we're not signing you.
Wow.
Because I was like, bro, I do not want to be living in Cincinnati, Ohio by myself on the P-Squad and in a freaking hotel room. That's just like, that does not bring me joy.
Yeah.
So
you knew. You're like, I'm done with this.
I'm done. Let's run it on something else. So after Jacksonville, I told my agent, if anyone else calls, tell them I'm done. Tell them my knee hurts. I was dealing with a little knee issues. I hyperextended it. Well, Miami's calling. They want you to try as a fullback. Now I'm like, tell them to suck it. There's nothing more disrespectful than telling a short white linebacker, let's try fullback. That means you're just not good enough to play linebacker. So that just like closed the door for me. And then me and my mom actually thought of the idea for the gym at our hit studio.
Yeah.
The concept of it. Called Marcus. We were training together for the NFL. My door was kind of cracked. Old buddy's was been shut since he had bad knees, like tore both his ACLs, played at Newberry, was a good player, but just like didn't have a lot of opportunity. So he's just training to train. I'm like, dude, I thought of this idea. Like, you want to come in with me? He is like, bro, please. Like, he went to school at Newberry for nursing.
Wow.
I do not want to be a nurse.
No.
Like, if you know Marcus Brown, you know this guy is not a freaking nurse.
Yeah.
So I was like, please, for the love of God, I don't want to go into nursing. Let's figure it out. And we were about to open up our 4th location. We have 40 people on our team.
And it's called the Junkyard.
The Junkyard.
Now,
So
give everybody real quick the backstory, how you became known as the Junkyard Dog
so that
in your playing days, because I feel like that's got to correlate into the business.
That's the whole reason why so there's a guy named Clemson Tom. He is like one of Clemson's more popular fans. And he just gave me that nickname my freshman year. It kind of stuck. So going into business, the flame was dwindling, but it was still somewhat. I'm a year out of ball, like still a local dude.
So everybody knows Ben
still somewhat
Boulware.
hot. So I'm like,
He's a legend. Don't let him be.
So I'm like, I need to at least tap into the name while it's still hot. It'd be dumb of me not to use some of this football success for business. I'd be ignorant not to do that.
Yeah, sure.
So Dorian O'Daniel, who played with the Chiefs, he was my Sam linebacker. We were roommates at Clemson, my dude, and we have a group text with all the guys we used to play with. My dudes me and Marcus are about to open up this gym. Let's figure out some names. Like, y'all throw out some ideas. And Dorian was like, bro, you should name it the Junkyard. And just stuck.
Perfect.
Just stuck. So the name was from the playing days. Our logo, the bull, is Boulware. I don't want to do a dog because I feel like that's too cliche.
Yeah.
So the Junkyard's from the nickname, and then the bull is from just my last name. We Googled cool bull logos. 4th page on Google, found one that was kind of similar. We tweaked it a little bit. A dude from Czechoslovakia made it. Paid him $300.
Wow.
Swear to God.
I love it.
And it's great. I mean, the branding's fantastic.
Yeah, we love it. It's like geometrical bull, like a strong bull, and it fits in well with the brand. So then we opened up Anderson, opened up Greenville, Clemson, working on getting Malden opened up. I've had some good phone calls over the past couple of weeks with some people that either want to invest or from like franchise corporations. So I think we're getting close to going that route. The goal is to grow the business. I feel like we have a good product by itself that's scalable, but also we have stuff on the back end that will allow us to grow and still be a healthy business. So we've done a lot of soul searching and learning and growing over the past 2 years.
When's the Charleston location opening?
So we've went to Charleston a couple times and looked at a couple opportunities. I said we had a call literally 2 days ago and talked about how I don't want to go to Charleston just to open up a Charleston spot. You got to be super strategic about. There's so many like competitors of ours that are in Charleston. You could open up 10 junkyards in Charleston if you wanted to because it's so big. So like, hey, do you want to go to Mount P? Do you want to go to West Ashley? Do you want to go to like downtown? Downtown would be tough because there's no parking. But you want to go right above downtown. So the map in Charleston is so big and there's so many pockets of people where you could go. So we want it to be like, I don't care. We'll go to Charleston at some point. I don't know when, but it's got to be the perfect opportunity where like numbers wise.
Mount P, by the way, I'm biased, but I'm a Mount Pleasant guy. So
yeah, so like, so we love Mount P initially, and there's so many people in West Ashley. You should come to West Ashley.
Yeah,
and then there's a little pocket where home team and Lewis's are right above downtown that we love.
Like
there's
Upper King area kind of thing.
It's all developing now.
Yeah.
It was
Dude,
nothing
it's
before.
about to go
so many
wild.
houses in there. So like, we'll go to Charleston at some point. I know for sure there'll be one. I don't know when. But the numbers and the location have to make sense for us and like our model. So
tell everybody, what does like a class look like? So you go to the Junkyard, and I also want to talk about the digital product, the online product that you have as well. But like, if you show up to a Junkyard location, what's it look like?
So I'll try to explain this as efficient as possible. So we're a class-based gym. So we're not an open gym concept. It's not a Gold. It's not a Planet Fitness. It's class-based. We have 8 classes a day. We have an app. So we get a 5:15 this morning. It's our earliest class. So in Anderson, Greenville, and Clemson, you show up like at 5:10, 5:15. Coach brings you in, explains the workout of the day, all the movements, the flow. You go through warm up, and then it's station based, and I'll hit on the stations. It's a 45-minute workout, in and out. So super efficient. I'll get into some of the things that kind of make us unique now. From a format standpoint, there's like when I'm trying to sell this to like a company that's about to partner with us. So Stryker, hey, we're going to be y'all's corporate wellness partner. This is why y'all should buy a gym membership for all your employees. Here's the 3 reasons why we're unique. First would be the format. So we're the only HIIT studio that has treadmills, cycles, rowers, and then a lifting station. A lot of our competitors will have treadmills and then mats, or all cycles, or treadmills, rowers, and mats. No one has all 4. We don't have that like trademarked, but we're the only one. Like I've done hundreds of other studios from like market research. No one has all 4. I don't know why, but we feel like from a fitness standpoint, the run, ride, row, and then we say rage because it's just smooth marketing.
Nice.
But that accomplishes everything A to Z from a fitness standpoint. We're hitting all areas. So the format, not every day, but like on a standard junkyard day, you're going to run, you're going to ride, you're going to row, and we say you're going to rage. So it's all free weights. We're not CrossFit. So the treadmills, we use free motion treadmills. They're super like cushiony. You're not running on concrete. They're literally like you're running on trampolines. So it's really good for the knees. Cycles and rowers, we use Concept 2 bikes and then Concept 2 rowers. And then the mats are any type of free weight, dumbbell, kettlebell, bands, medicine balls, battle ropes, everything but a barbell. We didn't want to do barbells because we've done years of Olympic lifting, and my freaking wrists are stiff as a mug from doing hang cleans and power cleans every single day. Every day at Clemson, you freaking hang clean, bench, accessory work, power clean, squat, accessory work. Wednesday, you're doing skills and drills, and then repeat it.
Yep. So
did it for 4 years, and like there's a lot of benefits to doing Olympic lifting, but you got to. It's tough to do that in a group class. That needs to be done like one-on-one.
You have to do it right.
Specific skill.
It's a skill. It's a sport.
You'll get hurt if you don't do it right.
Effed up. Yeah. So
somebody just snatches that doesn't know what they're doing. Hey, let's do 5 sets of 10, and then run over here and
pull your arms off your freaking shoulders. Yeah. So we didn't want to. It's a fast-paced workout, and we don't really have the time in the workout. We can go into proper instruction and modifications, but we got 36 people in a class, 48 people in a class. It's very tough to have one-on-one, like 10-minute specific. Our coaches are running around controlling the chaos, and we feel like it's easier to coach when you have free weights. And we do plenty of we'll do kettlebell snatches, dumbbell cleans, stuff like that, but it's all free weights. And then we feel like from a market standpoint, we would kind of corner ourselves if we were doing barbell training. There's only a certain amount of folks that want to do that. Like the CrossFit box wants and loves barbells, and that's totally cool. But a lot of other folks, soccer moms, don't want to freaking do a 185-pound barbell snatch. Right? You just don't want to do that, So
the masses do not want to do barbells.
Yeah, and I've done them for years. They're great, but there's also a lot of negatives, so we just don't do it. So no barbells. So that's a format. Smart. Second would be so we have a patent on this. This is defensible. This is something we can scale that no one else can do. Like some point, like if a high-low in Mount P, I think they don't have treadmills. If they wanted to introduce a treadmill, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. They can. It'll be super expensive. I know high-low's got a lot of money. They got funds behind them. Can get one if they wanted to. I don't know if that's not their brands. They may not, but what's defensible for us is we have this music code that we do all of our workouts to. So we have a patent on this. It's a code we created. It's essentially, you can put a visual on the final podcast, but there's on every studio, there is TVs in the studio, and you'll see green and red music beats going across the screens. The room is dark, and if you turn these lights off, that orange light would probably turn the room a little bit orange.
Yep.
You make it pitch black in here, and you put them around the ceiling, orange lights or green and red lights, the whole studio is going to be green and red. So when it's green, this is we call the pace zone. So if you're on the treadmill, on the bike, on the rower, it's like an active recovery pace. It's in the music where the beat hadn't dropped yet. It's not at the climax of the song. So it's green, and then when the beat drops, it'll go to red. And it's when you naturally would pick your pace up, working out the music, the whole room will turn to red. And so if you're walking on a treadmill on red, you're freaking scooting.
Yeah.
Based off of the interval of it. So like when the BPMs pick up, the color changes.
That's cool.
So we've made this code where people that may not be able to like hear and understand the rhythm, it's easier to be able to visualize that. Like Cameron, my little brother.
Yep.
And we have we partner with Clemson Life in our Clemson studio. So we have like Cameron's autistic, multiple kids with Down syndrome. They understand the green and red. Green, I'm walking. Red, I'm jogging. Bikes, on green, I'm sitting. Red, I'm going butts up. Rowers, I'm rowing harder on red. Like it's simple enough from a visual standpoint that anyone can understand that. It's tough to, without a visual, for you probably to pick that up now, but I'll send it to y'all so it'll make more sense. So that, defensible. There's no one in the world that has that because we pulled that out of our butt and we had a code on it and we've patented.
That's awesome.
Third would be the coaching. So this is probably like the music's defensible. Our biggest piece that separates us as well is the coaching. Like the coaching is very, very, it's elite. Like we have a very thorough interview process in the jump, but onboarding, like we got it all written out, like what we want as a coach. And Marcus, who does all the training on our coaches, does a great job. So we have 28 coaches on our team right now, and they're all freaking elite, all different. Some are freaking in their 40s and are female. We got some dudes that are 20 and are guys, so like all of our coaches are running different races, different people, but the level of coaching they provide at the gym is from Millicrim.
Well, and it goes back to that feedback
Yep.
that you guys talk about. It's constant.
Yep.
And then it sounds like you guys could put good systems and processes in place. It's like, this is how we do it.
Yep. So I'll hit on this. So the reason why we wanted to be like elite when it comes to coaching is guys like Coach V in my life who pushed.
Yeah.
So like our coaches, we push people. So if a coach, you're doing a class, we know you can run at 8 miles per hour. We know you can run 9 every single day. If we're running, they're going to make you run at 8 or 9. It's not going to be golf claps and rainbows and daisies and you're doing good, Jaron. No, buddy. Like I saw you at 8 yesterday. Press 8. Jaron, press 8. Jaron, open the mic to 30 people. Press 8. If you still don't do it, they'll press your treadmill.
I love
And a lot of people don't do that. But if you pay what you pay to come to our studio, you better experience results.
Yep.
And experience fruit quickly. And our coaches are a big reason in that because we push people. We don't kill them. Like my mom has done 900 classes.
Wow.
She got 2 metal knees that are replaced, and she can run probably 4 miles per hour. Our coaches know Mama Boulware, she can hit 4, she's going to 4.
Yeah.
We're not going to put her at 10, that'd kill her. So, like, it comes down to our coaches being super intentional, being present, and building equity in that client's life where, okay, yeah, I'm going to let you push me now, wear me out, like melt my face off. So our coaches do a great job in that. So the 3 things that separate us are the format, the music software we had, and then the coaching. Like other places don't have that, and I don't think they can. And even if they wanted to, they don't have the systems in place to support it. So some of the things that we've done, actually, I say that, I'm not about to give away the systems that we do for people that may see this.
Yeah, that's
we
fine.
have, like one of the things, there's a lot of things we do. Like one of the things that are great for us is we do coach reviews. And throughout onboarding, the first thing we do for a person that comes on the team, we make them do a coach review on the head coach that they're watching the class. So it's our training is I do, you watch. We do it together. You do, I watch, and then you do. So it's 4 steps of training. The first I do, you watch is Marcus or a head coach doing, and then the person that's getting onboarding, they're watching. And they're performing a head coach review. We have like a document with like 30 grading measures that we make them go through and review the head coach so they can get in the lens of like what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then we do it together. They'll help out with the head coach or Marcus in class. And then you do I watch. Marcus or a head coach will perform a review on that trainee, and then you do. And then after you do, every coach is getting 2 reviews done on them every month. Doesn't matter who it is. We have 7 head coaches. We have 6 head coaches. The head coaches are getting reviews done on them by other head coaches.
Wow.
So every coach is getting 2 reviews. It's essentially an unannounced grading sheet. So if you're coming to coach a class, oh crap, Marcus is here. He's in the corner. Performing a review, unannounced. We'll film you. I feel like a lot of people learn stuff about themselves on camera. They may not know. I'm gonna watch this later, and I'm like, bro, why did I sound like that? Why was I moving my hands? Like my shorts are too low. But you can't know that until you see yourself on camera. So we'll film them. We'll film a minute of the explanation and a minute of them coaching, and we'll send it to them. So they're like, wow, I sound stupid on the mic, or why I was in this little pocket of the room the whole time. I didn't move at all.
Yeah.
And then we'll give them the review. We'll send it to them, and we'll go over it with them after. Hey, you freaking ABCD, you crushed it. Like, energy was great. You hit all the names in the class. Boom, bada, bing, bada, boom. Here's E we'd love for you to work on. Here's a video to support what I'm saying, so you don't think I'm being a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you crushed this. Let's work on this. And we'll hammer it home. We'll send them a review. So the next class, they can look at the review. Okay, this is what I sucked at yesterday. Let's work on that. So we put a lot of systems in place to make sure, if anything, the coaching is consistent. But we're at the point now where we're bringing on some good folks.
That's awesome.
Elevating the game. Hey, we love this review. You should add this grading measure. Like, great, give us feedback.
Wow.
Like, I don't know what the F I'm doing. Like, if you have a thing you think we should add, like one of the things we've implemented in the past 2 months was the coach grading people at the door and communicating in the lobby. So that like sets the tone where some places you'll walk in the studio, no one talks to you. But in the grading your sheet, we've already announced this to the team, hey, every class, you better be opening the door for people, fist pumping them, and then talking in the lobby. So every class will be 5:15 in the morning. I can show you a video from yesterday of our coach at 5:10, 30 degrees, dapping people up as they're walking in the door. We grade how many names they called in class. There's 36 people in a class. Rate blank out of class size how many names were called out.
Sure.
So I think the challenge in business is figuring out what matters to you. But if you can figure out how to measure what matters, then
Sure.
the business gets better.
Yeah, and you can build.
You can build that. So we have figured out so far how to measure what matters to us.
What gets measured gets what's the saying?
I don't know.
What gets measured gets
Duplicated.
gets better, you know, or whatever. There's some saying. I can't think of it. Yeah, and that's awesome that
What
you guys
about
have put that in
recruiting
place.
people? How have you found, as you're building this business, a higher standard of accountability than in most places? I mean, how do you see recruiting? Have you had trouble finding people?
For sure. Yeah, we're dealing with that right now. Where some of our coaches in Clemson are graduating or moving. So we'll grow as fast as our people will allow. We do a lot of ways of how we try to bring on people. What we've done so far, and I don't know if we'll be able to do this as we scale, because not everyone's going to be a member, but so far we have hired from within. So me and Marcus and Bailey are the only ones that are on the team that weren't a member initially. And I love hiring people that are a member because I know that you care about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you care about your health because you've already spent your time, energy, and money to be a part of the gym. So if we bring you on this side of the tracks, hopefully you'll provide the same experience that we provided for you. So we haven't had a lot of trouble because people that are members, hey, I want to try this coaching thing. Okay, like you're a great communicator. You obviously got to get certified. I don't care if you've had like 30 years of experience in the fitness world. You could have none. You could be a good communicator and a good leader. Sure. Just get this certificate, spend 2 weeks, a couple $100, and we can go through the training, and you could have no experience. But after you go through this training, you'll know how to be a good coach. And a lot of places, once you go through that, you can be hired. The experience is our training. That's is what's in depth enough. But we've always kind of hired from within. As we get into like a Charleston market, a Charlotte, Atlanta market, I don't really know how we're going to do that. We'll figure that out when that time comes.
Y'all put a good system in place.
Yeah, we've loved hiring from within because the people that are members know how we operate from a client standpoint. So they get on our side, they're like, okay, this thing's actually pretty in depth. Yeah. And that's a challenge that we faced before is it seems so fun and a good workout on the outside, and you get in, you're like, oh, this is actually a business. There's a lot of systems. There's a lot of things that they do to make sure that happens that you probably didn't think was going to be there. Like, no, it's a job, buddy.
We're doing it.
We got systems in this mug. You have to have them. So
that's really cool. I would say for the entrepreneurs who, hear this, what has, and we'll wrap this up, a couple more questions. You're scaling. That's the hardest thing for any business to do, right? The Anderson location, I'm sure that was hard as crap, just like getting it off the ground.
Sure.
But you're crushing it here, right? There's so many people in Anderson who go to the Junkyard. You're absolutely crushing it. But it's, now it's time to grow. And I think maybe you went to Greenville next, then Clemson, you're looking at opening the fourth, right? So what's that been like, the challenges, and what's been that hardest point? Was it 1 to 2, 2 to 3? Has it all been easy so far?
They have each been really hard.
Okay.
So Anderson was probably the easiest.
Really?
Me and Marcus were there consistently. We coached all the classes. We built it with our hands. We built Anderson for like $60,000.
You literally did. You would post it on your stories.
Yeah,
you
we
did
literally installed
everything.
The lights, finished all the concrete on the curb. Like literally, we built it for $60,000.
Wow.
So Anderson was probably the easiest. Greenville, we opened up in May of 2020, and remember, COVID happened in February, March.
Oh boy!
So at the beginning of the pandemic, we opened up a group training studio. We're 25 years old. So 2020 kicked our freaking nuts in. We actually didn't lose any money. We broke even.
That's good.
Which we were like, hey, dude, we'll take that as a win.
Yeah,
we didn't lose any money. Praise God. Clemson has also been tough to navigate. We opened up Clemson in April of last year, and this is the first space we've had where there's been a tenant beside us, like attached to the building. And we opened up too early. We opened up in April, and our tenant didn't open up until December. So for 8 months, we operated Clemson in a construction zone. We had no parking lot pretty much.
Boy.
There'd be 50 construction vehicles. There'd be dumpsters in the front, the whole front of the space. There was like no curb or patio. So we're having to build that. Or it was to not go into weeds, it was super tough. It was a good learning experience for me. It really made me exercise patience. And we opened up that location. Day one was the first day of my honeymoon.
Oh boy.
I'm literally in Mexico, and it's a Monday, and we're opening up. A nightmare.
Your wife was pissed.
Dude, on my phone the whole time. So, and looking back, it didn't really matter. So, like, I shouldn't have done that. But each Greenville and Clemson have been super difficult and really good learning experiences. In the operating Greenville, opening Clemson, they're different markets. Clemson being a college town is a totally different market than we've ever dealt with. So, it's a really good learning experience for us. Malden, it's also a huge development with like 30 other tenants, and we're ready to go. The landlord hadn't turned the space over to us yet. They're really close. We were supposed to open up Malden in January.
Oh, wow.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah. When we announced it last year, it's January 2023.
But you haven't done anything in the space
we
yet.
Started. Yeah.
Oh,
so
boy.
We probably won't open up Malden. The landlord told us, and this may not be even set in stone. Last time we talked to the landlord was probably March is when they'll turn it over. We have 120 days to open that space up per our lease, so 4 months. So do the math.
Oh,
June, July, August is probably when, which is like fine. Like we don't need Malden. We're super stoked to go in this development, but like we're fine with what we have right now. And I've learned with Clemson, I'm not going to put the pedal to the metal. Yeah. We're going to open up that space when it's ready.
Got to pace it.
When everyone else is ready. Because I'm not opening up with us open and 4 months later, the rest of the development opens up. That has been a nightmare doing that with Clemson. So hopefully in the next month, they'll turn it over. Our build out's not super complex. It is expensive. And this is what's been tough this time. The Malden build out has been a lot more expensive than Anderson, Greenville, and Clemson because these building costs are stupid right now. People are like, whether it's people being greedy or just the cost of materials are a lot more expensive. So it's been tough. And like we can swing it, but some of those tenants that have like huge build outs that their build out might have been $1 million. Now it's 10 million. Like you can't start out. Hey, we're not doing that. So we're out. So this I always want to get Malden opened up. Yeah. Once Malden is ready, the whole development will be super cool.
Yeah.
The tenants that will be in it with us will be a really, really cool space. I think the Greenville Triumph soccer team is going to have a stadium there. That's not set in stone. I might have just freaking wrecked the system by announcing that. They're trying to get
You heard it here first.
yeah. They've been trying to get
we're breaking news on this thing.
but it'll be, you get a freaking professional soccer team there too as well. It'll drive a lot of traffic. There's a lot of folks in Malden.
Area's booming.
I've never even been before then. Malden, Simpsonville, like I think Heritage Park. We played baseball there. It was the only reason I went to freaking Simpsonville. But other than that, like who lives in Simpsonville?
Everybody now.
Dude, everyone's like, when you open Malden, I'm like, hey, ask freaking the developer. Like when they're going to turn the space over to us. So
That's funny.
And they've been getting screwed because the construction company is whoever they're getting their material from is screwing them. So it's just like one person after another who's just like getting screwed. But it's fine. I'll worry about Anderson, Greenville, and Clemson. And when Malden comes, Malden will come.
Y'all
Malden
knock it out.
We'll figure out what's next.
What advice would you give to somebody who's growing a business right now?
You need people.
It's all about people.
It's all about people. Whether that be people like alongside you that will help you work, but also people like you need wise counsel. And I think one of the things that I've done good over the past 5 years is having dudes in my life that I could tap into. Like, hey, here's this question I have. Like, what would you do? Or so I have a couple guys like John Wright's one of the dudes that's been like great wise counsel from like a real estate lease negotiation systems. Like it's been really good. I have another guy that is like the CEO of a metal manufacturing company. We have one-on-ones every month. We've had one-on-ones for 2 years straight every month.
Cool.
We go over business goals, personal goals, and we'll go over the past months. Hey, did you do them? Yes or no? No. All right, why? What the F are you doing, dude? And I have another guy that's just like a wise counsel from like a leadership, like spiritual standpoint. So having these guys in my life to hold me accountable allows me to steward my people better. So people, if you can find some good folks to work like in the business with you, but also having good people that can work on you as a leader to help you like be better for your team. That's the biggest advice. And then some people don't have that, which is tough. Like finding good people, like where do you find them?
Yeah.
You know? So thank God I have.
Yep.
This is a dog eat dog world. Like these are my dudes. Don't mess with them. Like you find your own, buddy.
Yeah.
That's my advice for you. I know it's tough to find them.
But it'll change.
Go to church.
It'll change your business,
You'll
man.
find a lot of good folks in church. So that's why I found all three of these guys go to the church with me and are like good leaders, but good Christians, good fathers, good husbands, and are also like just great wise counsel for me. So super thankful I have them in my life. I think I've done a good job of like pursuing them as well. They're super busy. They don't got time for me, but every week they're getting texts from me. Hey, when's our next one-on-one? Or let's go to lunch. They got kids, dude. Like they got their wives. They got their own businesses they're running. Yep. And I've consistently pursued them over the past 10 years to 2 years. That's relationships. If you don't pursue your wife, she'll freaking punch you in the dick, dude. Like she'll divorce you. So that's like marriage, relationships, friendships. Like it's a two-way street. You got to pursue each other.
Yeah,
and more times than not, it's me pursuing them, which is totally cool. I know I got to. They're older than me, a lot smarter.
Everybody's busy, man.
Yeah, everyone's busy. We all got things going on. So
I'm gonna pursue you, Jaron.
Come on, bring it on, big. Bring it on, Big Daddy.
I texted a buddy of mine, two guys that I room with football. Now one of them lives in Atlanta, one lives in Virginia. Haven't talked to him a lot over the past 6 months. And I texted him. We were talking about with my wife. So I texted him. I was like, dude, I miss y'all. I love y'all. I have not done a good job of pursuing y'all. And I said that. He's like, bro, please don't pursue me. That's weird. And I'm like, you would F up the moment.
I love it, though.
Yeah, you're trying to be like sentimental here, you know?
Like a good friend, like a good dude.
That's something I would say.
But you got to like pursue guys. Whether it be getting freaking lunch, going to dinner as a couple.
Yep.
But it's a two-way street.
This dude Preston does counseling every Friday, which I think everybody...
This is a form of counseling for me.
Oh, for sure. Just sitting here talking.
Feedback.
Sure.
It goes back to the feedback thing. These guys have built enough equity in my life where, bro, you're being a freaking meathead. Well, why would you do that?
What are you doing?
And I wouldn't have known if I didn't have these guys giving me feedback.
Yeah.
You know? So counseling, wise counsel, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. So,
and he comes out of these meetings.
Yeah.
You talked about, texting your buddies saying you're going to pursue him. every Friday. This man sends us a love letter, and I love it. He just be like, Jaron, I just want to let you know I love you so much. I'm proud of you. You're crushing it in business and in life, and I love you, brother. And I'm just like, and I always send something like smart aleck back, like, all right, loser, thanks. But like deep down, I'm like,
bro, that was sick.
I'm like, bro, I need that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So
I always believe and tell people how you feel.
You'd hate to
support them, build them up.
Super freaking dark, bro. In a week, old buddy not be here.
Yep.
And like, I wish I would have sent that.
Yeah, I
wish you would have known that.
A friend of mine that happened to. And every time we get off the phone, he's like, "All right, love you," like almost like you would your wife or whatever. But he had a friend that
there's multiple
he
guys.
lost, and
we tell each other every time.
Yeah, so I've started doing it just with my friends because you just never know, man.
It matters, and like at first, it's only awkward if you make it awkward. But there's multiple dudes. I get off the phone with them, or we leave from like a lunch. Like, bro, I love you.
Yeah,
love
yeah,
too.
100%.
It's not that
awesome.
hard, So, and one of the things, like me and Marcus were talking about a situation at work. He sent me like something happened, and I was like, bro, and me 5 years ago, we'd be like, hey, you're a soft mother effer. Like, you need custom. And I was like, me now, like, I do still think it's kind of soft, but I get it. And I appreciate the honesty that they said. So it's just a lot of, I don't know, time and wise counsel and feedback and experience. Like, you learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's really
it's
cool.
been a cool journey. I'm super excited to see where it goes. I'm still happy at the end of the day. That's like the thing I was missing after Clemson in like that short period of time with NFL. Like I was miserable, no joy at all. And so now, like I love like the game of business.
It's fun. Most days. Unless you're on your honeymoon trying to do a building project.
Unless you're Garrett Boulware dealing with like your 17th truck driver that's called you.
Yeah, I know you're watching this.
Yeah. But more days than not, like the people we work with are awesome. The clients that we have, good folks. I love the product. Like I smoke what I sell. That's all I do.
Yep.
So that makes it easier. And just like the game of business, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a good
So
time.
if you do it the right way, more times than not, you'll experience fruit. And I'm working my nuts off. So I want to.
Lord, that's all you know to do.
Give me an overflow. I'm freaking ready for it.
You could never stop working even if you wanted to. It's
Jamie
building.
Boulware. That's why Jamie Boulware was at the freaking concrete plant at 5 this morning. But he's 60. Like, sleep until 7.
Yeah, relax. Go eat breakfast.
Cool it, bro. You got to Waffle
Y'all need to get him to go to Waffle House with y'all. You need to like pull him away.
We're starting that next week.
Good.
I was like, like 3 weeks ago, we should probably bring Dad. Like he needs some good dudes in his life. I know we're his sons, but all he does is work.
He just gets lost in the sauce.
Just lost in the sauce. So this next breakfast we're having, we're bringing Dad.
Good for y'all.
That's good.
That's awesome. Last question. We're wrapping this up. Day in your life. What does a day in Ben Boulware's life look like? Entrepreneur, running and growing this business.
Let's see. I'll look at my calendar. I'll give you an actual accurate answer. So,
and tell people too how early I'm not one of these guys that say you have to get up early to be successful, but I'll tell you, the folks in my life who get it started earlier and get ahead of everybody else, they're normally
you got to create time.
They're normally ahead of.
I'm getting to the point now where my phone's playing a bit static. I'm getting to the point now where there's not enough time in the day. So let's see, like Tuesday and Wednesday. I usually work out in our 5:15 class. I like getting done early. Those classes are fun. The people that go to them are like to work their nuts off and cool people.
Yep.
So I used to do the 5:15 and then go to Waffle House after and read my Bible. Waffle House gets a little chaotic sometimes. I'll put headphones in and it's still chaotic.
Time out. Was there not just a fight? Did you not?
Yeah,
was that
like
you who posted that?
3 weeks ago, yeah.
You're in Waffle House and people just start swinging on each other.
Dude, they're literally cussing each other out.
In the morning?
Yes, like 7
Well, that's too early.
This man's trying to read his Bible.
Yeah. So I've been over the past 3 weeks trying to get up. Like I'll get up at my alarm right now is 3:50, which is tough. Like you get in the threes, that'll piss me off a little bit. I can operate on 4. 3s is a little tough. But I was doing 4, and I wanted to create a little bit more time from a quiet time standpoint. So I'm like, this is 10 minutes. I'll do 3:50. So I'm gonna get up at 3:50. I need to leave the house by about 4:40 to get to one of our gyms in time before 5:15. So I'll read, go to a 5:15, and then we'll look at, let's see.
Then you just sit on
Tuesday,
podcast the rest of the day, right?
I wish. Yeah. Like on Tuesdays, we have our staff meeting. So 2 days ago, we had we have a 12 o'clock staff every Tuesday, 12 to about 2 to 3. It's a little bit longer. We only have one a week. But me, Marcus, Bailey. So me and Marcus own it. Bailey is my little sister but we call her GM. She's a GM, CFO. We're not at the size to even call it a CFO, but she does a lot. She's pretty much the boss. And then all of our managers at each location will go to this meeting. We have a marketing girl that sometimes comes. We have a apparel and branding person. We have a role, a leader of people and culture. So they lead our ambassador program and all of our events. Sometimes they'll be there. But this staff meeting will just essentially go over the past week, what's ahead. And then like on Tuesday, had that. Then we had that call, that like growth company, if you will. And then we had an onboarding video with coaches. We had to do we're doing a video. So me and Bailey were doing a video we send to the new hires that explain that I do, you watch, we do it together, you do, I watch, you do. And explain those 4 steps with a little bit more detail. So we make them watch it before their first onboarding video so they know, they have clarity what they're getting themselves into. So we've done that with coaches over the past 2 years. We haven't done it with our front desk. And we work our front desk to death. People they're not just, they like calls. There's a lot of stuff our front desk does. So we were making one for an onboarding video for our front desk. I still coach. Like I've got a coach in Clemson tonight. We're having like coaching trouble in Clemson with a bunch of people that are just moving, graduating. It's happened really quickly.
So you got to fill in.
Hey, it's still small business, baby.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not going to cancel a class.
Roll your sleeves up.
So texted Hannah an hour ago, hey, I got to close in Clemson tonight. So that's tonight. Let's see after this. I'll stay at 9th. We have a staff meeting that I am late for. That was supposed to happen 3 minutes ago. That I probably need to go. It was 11
They're going to kill us.
Yes.
They're going to kill us.
They are. It's 11:04. I have a staff meeting at 11 o'clock, a Zoom call.
You better get out of here.
Another one at 2 and then 3. So
you are at the point where you get your hands dirty when you need to, but you're trying to guide the business when at all possible.
Yes.
You kind of mentioned that earlier with Garrett. It's like you're trying to be able to step out of the business and,
rather than working in it, work on it.
Yep.
And work on like the growth and like areas where we can improve, like systems, operations, where some areas that could bring us more value. We have people that are boots on the ground that run the daily operation. And I still do that because I love that. It's fun. My dad's 60. He still does it. He needs to not do that. He's 60, but we're getting to the point where I need to work more on it and not in it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, where can they find you? Obviously, if you live in Anderson, Greenville, Clemson, and soon to be Malden, you need to go work out at the Junkyard. That's just all there is to it. But if somebody is listening to this, we got people from all over the country. How can they find you guys?
Yeah, so our Anderson, Greenville, Clemson locations. Anderson's in downtown Anderson. Greenville's in the West Village of Greenville, and Clemson's right on the outskirts of downtown Clemson. All of it's on our social. It's just the way of the world. So mine's at Boulware, and then the Junkyard is at the Junkyard Fitness. For the people that are not in the area, we have an online program that we've launched. It's like $15 to $25 a month. Super from the world of online workouts, pretty cheap. It's about as close as you can get to a Junkyard workout with not being there. They're really good workouts. This is what separates us, and that is we've implemented our little music software. So a lot of places don't tie in the music to the workouts because they're not able to. We can.
That's cool.
Instead of listening to this workout and having freaking Spotify going on, you just got to listen to it, and it's all built into the same workout. So that's on the Junkyard social. It's just at the Junkyard Fitness, and everything you can find is in the link tree.
That's awesome, dude. Well, Ben, thanks for being on. This was fantastic.
For sure.
It's awesome.
And, keep crushing it. Good luck with the Junkyard. Thank you so much for listening in. If you love this episode, it would mean the world to us if you would stop right now and share it with a friend or post it on social media and tag our brand at Finance Cowboy so that we can personally thank you for helping us get this message out. I am grateful for all of you and thankful that you are on this journey of all these great stories of athletes with us. And until next time, we'll talk soon.